Hey girl, hey, and welcome to OMG Scrunchie Club. For those of you that are new, welcome to the club. I am the Scrunchie creator, Lamiel, and I'm going to tell you about velvet options that you can use for your scrunchies. But before we get into that, let's talk about my OMG Scrunchie Club look today. So I have decided to go back to my 90s girl hairstyle here. I'm a lot older than I look, by the way. But anywho, I am wearing the OMG Scrunchie Club barrette as well as the OMG Scrunchie Club fangirl earrings, all in, I want to say this color is Georgia. I could be wrong, but I want to say it's Georgia. This is like one of my signature OMG Scrunchie Club colors. As you can see, I kind of like this peach thing going on here. But okay, let's get into the video. So, velvet for scrunchie making. There are tons of different types of velvets that you can use. So I'm going to share with you the top 4 types of velvet that I like to use for making my scrunchies. Now you can use some of the other velvets that I am not talking about today. So by any means, by all means, or whatever the word I'm trying to say is, you don't have to use the ones that I'm using. That's what I'm trying to get to. So the first velvet that I'm going to talk about is plain velvet. So here is the plain velvet here. So this plain velvet is usually a cotton velvet. It is not very shiny and it is not a very stretchy velvet either. So look at that. It doesn't really stretch when I pull it. So that is one option for scrunchie making. Now I will say this velvet is one of my favorite velvets to use when making scrunchies, because when I sew it, it doesn't curl over, and you will see that when I get to some other velvets that I have on my table. You will see what I mean when I say it doesn't curl over. But I do have 2 scrunchies that I made with this velvet. Now one thing I would say is this velvet, in comparison to the other ones, is thicker. It's not like tremendously thick, but you can feel the difference in the weight and the thickness. So what I suggest is when you're making your scrunchies with the plain velvet that is thicker, is to shorten the length of your fabric. So I made this the exact same size that I make my other scrunchies, but it is a lot fuller and heavier. So what you want to do is, instead of making it this wide or long across, you want to shorten it, still keep the width of it. That way you'll still have the fullness of your scrunchie, because the width makes the circumference wider, the short ends of your scrunchie fabric, how you cut it. This is what helps. I'm giving out a hint here how to make your scrunchies bigger. So this is what helps make the scrunchie roundness wider. The length, the long way in which the fabric runs, it's what helps make the scrunchie fuller and helps it to scrunch more around the scrunchie. Because I've been having quite a few people ask me the lengths of my scrunchie fabric, but I don't give that out. But I just gave you a perfect clue in how to make your scrunchies fuller without giving out my trade secrets, kind of. Okay, so that is that scrunchie. Let's look at the next scrunchie that I have here. Okay, so let's talk about some stretch velvet. So you can get crushed velvet and panne. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, P-A-N-N-E velvet. And these 2 types of velvets are very stretchy. So I will show you. I have, this is the panne velvet, stretchy and it's shiny. So it shines, reflects the light very well. So here is what it looks like. You can stretch it. I can stretch it both ways. So it's a 4-way stretch, but it's more stretchier one way than the other way. So I can stretch it. It is very soft. This reminds me of back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when people would wear terry cloth or velour outfits. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. Some of you may not know, but I'm pretty sure they'll come back around again if they're not already back in style. Everything just repeats itself. So this here is a stretchy fabric, and then I have the crushed velvet, which is shiny as well, and it's stretchy also. And you can see the difference in the 2. One's just a smooth finish, one is crushed. It looks like it's been crushed or crumpled. They're both smooth, it's soft. It doesn't have like a texture or wavy texture to it, but this one stretches as well. And I will show you what I mean about the fabric curling over. So take a look at this. when I pull this out, you can see that it's already curling over on itself. So this can be frustrating if you're trying to sew. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about this. This can be very frustrating if you're trying to sew a bunch of scrunchies at one time. Not at one time, but a bunch of scrunchies within a time frame, because the fabric will either curl the opposite way or sometimes curl in on top of itself, which is not good. I don't have a sewing machine that has a walking foot. I just have a flat foot on my sewing machine. So what I do is I clamp the two ends as I normally would, and when sewing I kind of pull the fabric towards me like so, like this, to keep it from curling over on itself. So those are, this is the crushed velvet and this is the panay velvet. And I have a few of these scrunchies that I made here in various different colors. I have, this is like a silver, I have black, red, and blue. And then for the panay velvet, I have this maroon scrunchie that I made in the last video, as well as this pink one and a gray one. No, I'm sorry, the gray one is actually the plain velvet. You can feel the difference in the weight of it also. So the last scrunchie that I'm going to show you is the corduroy scrunchie. Do any of you remember wearing corduroy as a little kid? I haven't worn it as an adult, but I remember wearing corduroy as a little kid. Sometimes I like to go back to those days when I didn't have any bills to pay or any kids to have to feed and take care of. But then I would have my husband, so I guess I'll just live life where I am, which I can't go back anyway. But anywho, the last piece is the corduroy. Here it is. Corduroy has additional weft threading in it, and it creates this little texture to it. So it has little ridges. I'm going to call these ridges. Think of it ruffles, potato chips. That's what these are, but they're not as deep as the waves and ruffles. So this is a particularly sturdy fabric. It's usually 100% cotton. Sometimes you can get it with polyester and elastane, which will help it to stretch, but this is not a very stretchy fabric. So I'm stretching it. It has a lot of fibers coming from the edges where they were cut. But this is an option for you to make scrunchies with as well. I like this also because it does not curl over, it doesn't stretch. I'm not a big fan of sewing stretchy fabrics. I may need to try to figure out what kind of sewing machine foot I should use for stretchy fabrics. But if any of you know if there's a certain foot I should be using, please leave that in the comment section below. Oh, I forgot to mention, I don't think I mentioned it. If I did or didn't, I'll just mention it again. If you are watching this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. And yeah, I said like and subscribe, but I meant to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I am so close to getting 200 followers on YouTube. And yes, I am still trying to learn how to do YouTube, but I'm doing my best. So let's see, I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out. If you have any questions about the velvet that I'm using, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If there are any other materials that you would like for me to do scrunchies out of, also leave that in the comment section below as well. I'm thinking of, I don't know if I should do like a leather or a faux leather scrunchie. I think that would be fun. I have some faux leather fabric here. Also, I have some other things that I'm going to be doing or adding onto my OMG Scrunchie Club channel. That's not necessarily OMG Scrunchie Club. It has nothing to do with scrunchies at all, but I just don't want to make a separate YouTube channel for it. So maybe I'll put it in a separate playlist on my YouTube channel. Separate the playlist, I guess. I have to figure that out too. But I think that's it. I'm not making very much eye contact here. I'm so sorry. I went to school for communications, and it's very important when you're talking to someone to make eye contact with that person. Yes, so I'm looking at you. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos, and I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful day. And also, oh, I'm doing another video, so you may get 2 videos this week or quite a few more. I have several videos that I'm working on, but right after this, once I hit stop recording, I'm actually going to press record again and record another video for something else that I just created today. I had the idea and I bought the materials a while back, just that I haven't had time to make this. It's not anything very difficult, but you'll see it. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you can find out what my little mystery thing is that I'm going to show you in the next video. Thanks once again and have a great day. Bye.